It's such a great privilege to introduce to you without any further ado and let him take over the spotlight. DTM Raghavan Sridhar, who is a Toastmaster since 2012, who's working in Ericsson right now as a senior manager in R&D function. And to talk about his accolades when it comes to contests, I should say that he's been a really consistent performer over years as a champion, more specifically when it comes to evaluation. He was the second runner-up in the district finals of evaluation contest in Reverberation 2017. And he was also the district semi-finalist in the ISC contest in Ovation 2018. He was area director and a part of the extended club growth team in District 120 as well right now. He's also the reigning champion of Division D's evaluation contest, and we hope that when the finals of District 20 happens, he becomes the very first winner of evaluation. A lot of wishes to you. Please put your hands together to welcome a blogger, a violinist, and a very passionate, loving father. 3-year-old daughter, Adya, is his biggest inspiration and a greatest love for so many others who are his friends as well. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Sridhar for you.
Thank you so much, Hema. I'm actually squirming in my chair. They say this adage, right? I mean, thank you for the applause, of course. So they say this adage, right? Vasishtar Vayal Brahma Rishi, meaning the epitome of success, the epitome of great performances. That is Vasishtar. When he blesses someone, says, "You will succeed." That's exactly what I'm facing right now. Thank you so much, Hema. I think, more than anything, I think me and Hema share a friendship that's really precious. So thank you so much, Hema. It's a pleasure being back in L&T ECC. The last time I was here, I was in a very light vein. I said maybe someday I'll come back. I didn't realize you guys will take it that seriously and call me back. So thank you so much, first of all. I'm really, this is such a happy thing, when people want to talk about commitment and they take that very seriously and they have an exclusive session only for commitment, and it's as much as a responsibility as it is a Toastmasters meeting. I think it's the same for all of us. So I'm going to share a PPT and I'm going to talk you through a little bit of what I learned in Toastmasters and why I have remained in this forum for 8 years and counting now. If you actually look at when I attended my first ever meeting, it was in 2010. I became a member quite late, but the first meeting was in 2010. So I can also call this my 10th anniversary. So why will someone spend 10 years in a forum? There are people who are like, they want to run away from their wives after 10 days. But then there is someone who's spending 10 plus years. Of course, I don't want to run away from my wife, but why? That's, I think, what I'm going to share with you over the next 15 to 17 minutes, maybe 20. So let me know when you can see my screen. I am going to, Do you see the presentation screen, or do you see?
Yes.
Or is this just a? Okay. I still don't know what you are seeing. What
We
do you
see
see
a
on
person standing on top of a mountain.
Top of a mountain, right? Okay. And I hope it's the slideshow that you are seeing, not this mode, which will show you the next slide as well. Can you see what's coming up in the next slide?
No,
right?
no, we can't.
No.
Then I've found the right button. Because that's what happens when you have two displays and you're trying to be fancy and end up not knowing what you're doing. But hey, to me, this picture says a lot about commitment, right? Two things. One, if you look at that individual and you see that he's standing on top, or he's standing at a level that's slightly above ground level, to even get there, he must have committed to something. Second, for him to move forward from here, he either needs to commit to going downwards or to going to his destination, or commit himself to going upwards. And one of the quotes that really summarize this moment for me, is is that from Marshall Goldsmith. He says, "What got you here will not get you there, no matter where it is. And that's very close to what we experience and go through in Toastmasters as well, if you ask me. No matter where you are at this exact point, whether you are a champion like Hema, or whether you are a complete newbie, and or whether you are like me, right in between, aspiring to be a Hema, then no matter what got you to this point, it's not going to get you where you really want to go. You need to do something more. To do that something more, you need to really commit yourself. So that's I think one of the most important things for us to learn before we move forward. And so, okay, what got me here is not going to get me there. So what will get me there? Um, the answer is really there. It's really here in this forum. You don't have to look anywhere forward. What you get or what you got here, what you already have now, and what you're getting day in and day out in this forum, Toastmasters, is what will get you there. I'll tell you, I know it might be a little bit of a fancy word, right? But let me tell you this. In 2017, in Hema's introduction, she said, I was a semi-finalist at the 2017 ISC contest, right? I was in Sri Lanka and I was there. You know what I got there, which eventually pushed me forward without even me realizing? That's where I found the friendship of Hema. That's where me and Hema, I think, really became closer. Me, just like 1,000 other people watching her perform on stage, sizzling, coming first runner-up and making L&T's flag fly really high. I was there in the audience skulking because I had lost in the semifinals round. Thankfully, I was not facing off with Hema. If I was, I would have forgotten to even dream. But I was in another pool, so I had dreams. And then eventually, I had lost. So I was skulking in a corner, and there I was watching Hema rock the stage. Things happened. We became friends, but that friendship has actually started pushing me forward in various ways. As a Toastmaster, as a professional, and even me as a father, she does give me so many things that I take back eventually to Adya as well. So what you get here, what you are getting here, and what you have already got here in this forum is what will take you where you really want to go. And as important as it is to know, you need to do more. It's also important to understand that this forum gives you everything. And make sure you make maximum use out of it if you want to really go forward. A little bit of theory, right? I know, yeah, it's good to talk. And then comes the real me. So why have I stayed in Toastmasters for 10 years? I will share with you 5 art forms that I have learned from this forum. And I wish and I hope at the end of it, I can light a small spark in you to discover the 500 other art forms that exist in the forum. In that, maybe you'll get 5 reasons to continue in this forum, to continue attending meeting after meeting, to continue giving back to this forum and take back home enough from this forum as well. Okay, so 5 art forms I got here that will take me there. And essentially, to get all these 5 art forms, you need a little bit of time. Okay, and that's what's coming up. So remember, what got you here is not going to take you there. But in Toastmasters, whatever you got here, whatever you are getting here, will take you there as long as you pay attention. Okay, now on to my life experience. So I learned 5 art forms. I might have learned a little more, but I will give you the top 5. First art form, the art of silence. I know it springs out. You're like, okay, Toastmasters, you're supposed to talk, Raghavan. You're supposed to speak. And if you're starting with yes, you should actually say the art of speaking, right? But oh no, the art of silence. The art of being able to let the other person speak. The art of being able to absorb and learn. There was a interview, right? What do you call that, Kritika? The punch. Sorry, the 5-minute punch tantra talks. As much as I spoke, I think I was the first person who spoke so much that you guys had to split it into 2. But during, when Kritika was asking me questions, the questions she was able to ask initially stumped me. I was left speechless. I was absorbing and observing how efficiently, how enthusiastically, and how extremely articulate Kritika actually was. And I was wondering, okay, so maybe this is it. Maybe that's what I wanted, as a reminder for my own self. That's what Toastmasters has done, right? Because you take people like Kritika, you take people like me, people like Hema, people like you. We wouldn't have found another platform to express ourselves as much, and also to understand and see so many other talents around us. I don't know if any other platform really gives it. The only way to enjoy it, the only way to take it all in is by being silent. Right now, for the next 15 minutes, poor you all have to be silent, haven't you? But the art form of silence is something that is really profound. You learn to appreciate people, you learn to handle situations, you also learn to handle failures and successes in equal measure. And it all starts with that minute silence. I still feel when I was seeing Hema on that big stage performing, talking about her Santa Claus and the Secret Santa and all the emotions that went through in her speech. In my mind, there was so much of noise just before her speech because I had lost. I was dread. I mean, I was depressed. But then when she started speaking, silence took over. Now I take that silence back to my work as well and to my home. When Adya speaks, you learn to let her finish that sentence. My 3-year-old daughter, she fumbles around, she tries to find that word, and it takes her a few seconds to get that right word. My parents, my wife, they jump in and then try to help her, but I don't. I like, calm down, let her figure it out. That's what Toastmasters teaches you. When there is an icebreaker speech going on and the speaker is on stage trying to get it going, by giving them a prompt, by giving them a word, maybe you will make them speak, but you might also scratch their ego a little bit. But you let them speak, you let them find their feet, they get amazing things. Imagine your boss when you go into that appraisal meeting that is going to happen, right? Imagine if you have a boss who lets you get everything off your chest and then speaks. Imagine the difference. Instead of cutting in and saying, hey, you didn't do too much innovation this year. I'm like, okay, what? I am an L&T, I'm aiding construction, I'm designing all the massive bridges and all the devices that you're doing, and you're saying I am not innovative. Whereas when he lets you listen in, and I think that's what I am doing, at least at my workplace. So the first art form I learned is the art of silence and how profound it is to your growth. Second, the art of positive influence. And you know why the picture? Because I can actually take you guys on that ride. And I can, for sure, make you jump down and think I'm going to heaven. So imagine if your boss can do that. If your boss can push you to doing something that you know might not end well, but says, hey, come on, it's something you can do. In a positive way or in a way that is not so positive. It's still the ability to be able to influence someone is really important. And if you are able to create a positive influence in somebody, and you all do that, you ask us, okay, you can ask me, what am I doing? But you are doing it. Kritika was able to make me speak on and actually say, Raghavan, don't worry, I think we are getting some really important points, keep talking. I know when she went to the edit table, she and Hema were like, what kind of an idiot keeps talking for 15 minutes when I specifically say punch tantra, which is 5 minutes. I know they said that, but they let me talk. By giving me the space, Kritika actually let me bring out whatever I had, and then chipping and chopping is possible. You become the movers and shakers, right? You're able to make your colleagues, your friends, your family, and your own fellow Toastmasters do certain things. Ask your VPE, he or she will know. You come to a meeting and think, okay, today is the day I relax and I sit back and I enjoy. Suddenly they say, okay, the TMOD has not come, so you become the TMOD. It happened today, no? Until this morning, I was thinking there's an agenda that's going to come. We are going to have a full-fledged meeting, and then I was cleverly said, okay, Rags, it's just your session because you want people to be fully focused and committed. whatever be the reason, right? It was told to me in such positive way that I was enjoying it. I really enjoyed the way he handled my questions. But thank you. But you learned that. You learned the art of positively influencing people around you and near you. Third, and perhaps the most important art form of all, what makes you a better human being and which actually influences the different phases of your life. The art of being empathetic, the art of being able to show empathy. And it happens in evaluations, it happens in appreciation, it even happens when you show criticism, it even happens when you want to make people renew for membership. I know during this lockdown, a lot of people pushed at the leadership level and your own clubs, people who want you to continue in the forum. Well, come on, renew, renew. It's nothing. $45 is very small amount. It's not even a burden at all. Go ahead, right? But then as VP memberships, as fellow Toastmasters, we realize, okay, come on, $45 may be actually a big deal for some people. So let's hold back. Let's not push people too much. That's being empathetic. And then when an icebreaker, like I said, when a speaker is fumbling with their icebreaker speech, giving them the space needed to talk, or giving them a little bit of encouragement by smiling, by saying, come on, let's do it, or by just randomly switching on your cameras and applauding. And today, when despite the virtual world and Hema introduced, some of you unmuted and clapped, that's being empathetic. You have learned that art form already. Now, all that you have to figure out is what happens now. How can I take this to my personal life? I was able to do that in many ways. A lot of friends that I have at work, when I'm discussing with my team, today I am a leader at work, so it's a little more easier to practice. But coming into this space, into this leadership position, also needed me to be really empathetic. And being that is where I'm able to win hearts, if not. I mean, I do face a lot of criticism at work, yes, but then people are always friendly when they do that. And so, what all have we seen? The art of, what's the first art form?
Silence.
Silence. Second one, the art
Positive
of
Convincing.
influence.
positive influence
Positive.
or influencing positively. Third, the art of empathy.
Empathy.
Now is also the time I ask Kritika what's my time, because I'm not on my screen. I don't see timing.
Yeah, just 15 minutes.
All right.
Exactly.
So on the time. Okay. You still see the presentation, right? All of you? Super. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Now let's go to the fourth art form. Yeah, who would have thought in March? Maybe Arun doesn't enjoy being at office, but who would have thought, right? Who would have thought what happens to this world? Who would have thought that Toastmasters will become completely online? Who would have thought we would actually get the freedom of dressing up half ourselves, right? Now, you have no clue how my other half looks like, right? Don't worry, Arun. Let him be there. I like audience. It's okay. But who would have thought? Who would have thought I can attend a 1 hour Toastmasters meeting, being on mute and on camera shut down, and I can still enjoy. I can lean back. I can lie down. I can. Who would have thought? And who would have really thought educational sessions will happen across continents? I mean, even speeches. Who would have really thought of all that? But today we are in that reality. And you know what? Toastmasters was one of the earliest adapters to this change. Right? The moment lockdown got announced, I think even in very early April, our club started having online meetings. So you ask yourself, you do ISC, in the same contest, in the very same hour, you do a TT speech as well. And there are contestants who do an evaluation, who evaluate someone else's speech, who tell them how to make themselves better. They have to go up onto the stage to deliver a humorous speech within the same hour. So you practice adapting. And there are times when you have only 5 people in the meeting, right? It has happened to all of us. In every corporate meeting, it happens. We need at least 7 role players, but we go into the hall and we see only 5 members, and then there are many guests. So you learn to do R counter, you learn to do general evaluator, you learn to do a speaker role, all in one within the same meeting. And I don't even have to tell you what being adaptive, right? What being good really how it helps or what it really means. You know it, don't you? So today I have no troubles in any of the team meetings that I attend. Today I have no problems when I have to present to any of my colleagues on any subject. Doesn't matter that it's a dry subject. That doesn't matter that we are only looking at each other in 2D. Doesn't really matter which platform you're talking. So Zoom, Teams, Google Hangouts. I am proficient in all three, and I'm sure all of you are as well. And don't forget Skype. Actually, Toastmasters is giving you these benefits honestly, and these are benefits you will not realize today. Okay, what is there? I know Teams, I know Skype. So what? There will be a time when you will realize the value of it. Maybe it's a client call, maybe it's a job interview. Uh, okay, I won't tell anybody in LNT that you are applying somewhere else, but maybe it's an interview, or maybe it's just a presentation where you get a slight edge because you are now used to speaking to that dot, right? In that dot, I'm seeing Hema, I'm seeing Arun, I'm seeing Kritika, I'm seeing Raghavan, I'm seeing Buridi, Shravya, I'm seeing all of you, and yet I'm just looking at one dot, and that's something you cannot be taught, something you can only learn with experience. I think Toastmasters has really done that for me, and I'm sure it has done that for you as well. So the art form I've learned is the art of being able to adapt and adapt very quickly, adapt efficiently as well. The final art form, something very personal, very intimate, something that actually brought me and him up very close, almost made us family. It's the art of knowing yourself, the ability to understand who you are, what your strengths are, what are the peaks you can scale, what are the peaks you just sit back and watch and enjoy. Not every peak is meant to be conquered. Give me a second, guys. My father wants charger. I will get it. I hope I'm still visible. So not every
Yes.
peak is meant to be scaled. Not every fight is meant to be fought by you. They say, right, the one who knows himself knows the world. Now, I discovered very early that prepared humor is not for me. Uh, you can't make me do a humorous speech and expect to laugh yourself. You will laugh at me, not at my speech. And I realized that I am good in evaluation. And I also realized Toastmasters evaluation does not work when it comes to appraisals with your team members. You cannot, when you go and sit in a meeting and try to do this sandwich to your team members, it doesn't work. Really, it doesn't really work. But I learned it. I learned it because I was able to learn about evaluations. I was, hey, the yellow and red card came too close to each other, man. Are you sure you clicked the right button? But yeah, it
Later,
doesn't.
later.
All right. See, and this is something you learn as well. You face a crisis and you learn to handle it. There are some people who will be like, okay, how did this red card come? Did I speak so much? And then you also learn to, directly ask Arun, make him accept that he was wrong. Maybe he was right, but he actually said he is wrong. But the ability to know yourself, what can you pull off? What can't you pull off? What are the things that will work? What things won't work? You don't get that opportunity every time. And it's only when you are in this forum, when you come meeting after meeting, you take the stage, you do some roles, you go back and reflect on the learnings you've had. It's only then that you will learn it. And to do all that, you need a little of commitment. Without being committed, if you take the forum for granted, you can't get as much out of it as you really can. So what did I do? Yeah, I've learned quite a bit about myself. But I'm not going to tell you everything I know about myself because that's still a personal journey, isn't it? But hey, it's your journey and you must figure it out. Let me quickly give you a summary. Right? What are the 5 art forms? We already saw the first 3, right? The art of silence, the art of positive influence, the art of empathy. What are the next 2?
Knowing yourself.
Adapting and
Adapting, you are
knowing.
a little ahead, knowing yourself. People tell me I love acronyms. There is a reason why they say that. Because I hope you can see on screen what's the acronym that you see. They are not there just as a
Big.
random art form. Right? ultimately you learn to speak. But speaking doesn't just mean speaking, right? It means a lot more than that. Speaking is being silent. When you speak, you need to influence positively. When you speak, you need to speak with empathy. You need to adapt to your audience. Most important of all, you need to know yourself before you can speak effectively to others. The reason why I showed you all of this, the reason why I spoke to you all of this before this slide is what this manual really tells you. It's a leadership manual, right? That talks about commitment and it's a set of promises. The reason why I showed you what I gained out of the forum before I asked or before I spoke about commitment, that's how commitment works, doesn't it? You can't remain committed to something unless you know what's in it for you. Raghavan, okay, why should I attend meetings? Just because you learned the art of silence, you learned positive influence, you learned empathy. Why should I? Well, you can get all of it. The way you get all of it is by being committed, and there are Toastmaster promises that Toastmasters really adjudicates to attend clubs regularly, prepare all your speeches. Right, there are a lot of us who don't prepare, who just write the script the previous night, don't even send it to mentors or send it customarily, and just come and present. Don't do that. To prepare and fulfill meeting assignment, to provide fellow members with helpful and constructive feedback, to help the club maintain a positive environment, to serve your club as an officer. How many of you are excom officers? I don't know, but that's something that you should promise to take up sometime or the other, if not for the club, for yourself. To treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring more guests, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational recognition programs, and to maintain honest and ethical standards during the content of a meeting. I will send this PPT across. Do read these promises. But stay committed. Is what commitment can give you, nothing else can. What you get here will eventually get you where you want to go. This will remain limited to the club and to your own self. Then I think we can